This is Johnny Wrestling, Johnny Gargano, and you are listening to the Bob Culture Podcast.
Nothing between the lines of the page or outside. Forgiveness is for angels with its angel spell and a line that in no second chance or redemption can be found. 'Cause you can't have the devil and the devil is running you down.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into a very special episode of the BCP, brought to you by our shameless promo friends over at Funkenstein Wrestling Superstore, located in Englishtown, New Jersey. Guys, visit the Flea Market, Blue Building, Englishtown, New Jersey, 8 to 3 Saturday and Sunday. Visit Dan, visit Heather, get your X-Men, G.I. Joes, wrestling figures, championship belts, micro brawlers, so much stuff. Our literal favorite store, probably half the stuff on the wall here is from Funkenstein. Guys, check them out, Englishtown, New Jersey, or online on ebay.com. Shameless promo. We're paying the bills. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show first. She is your current reigning and defending, I'm being impartial here, Goddesses of War champion, Miss Amanda Fuentes. Amanda, welcome in. How are you?
Oh, thank you. How are you, Rob?
I'm impartial. I will say congratulations. You did win that championship under some last minute changes. You are now the Goddesses of War champion. We'll talk about that in a little bit. How's everything going? Were you down in Florida?
I'm down in Florida. Yes, I was up in New York for 2 months and gave me the chance to bring home this baby. So, I'm here now and getting ready to kick things off, and it's not over. I'm just getting fired up.
Oh boy, yeah, and we saw you get fired up in the ring at our last event, and I was sure to keep my distance from you. I will stay on the other side of the table, far, far away from the Goddesses of War champion. And please welcome to the show. Welcome back to the show, I should say. You know him as the head honcho over at Damage365 Promotions. He may have some other titles after this podcast we'll talk about in a little bit. And the man who is responsible for bringing in Miss Fuentes into the Goddesses realm. Please welcome back to the show, Mr. Kevin Nasta. How are you, sir?
Well, it's about freaking time you had me back on this show. I mean, I had to bribe you, insult you, insult Kimmy, hide Kimmy for a week so she wouldn't be on the show. You thought like you would have filled me in, took her place. That didn't work. So I had to produce a champion to finally get back on the Bob Culture podcast. That's just unacceptable. But to answer your question, I'm doing freaking fine, Rob.
Yeah, I could tell a lot of good news coming for you. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but let's not bury the lead here, ladies and gentlemen. Amanda, you are the Goddesses of War champion. Tell us what that was like for you going through that roller coaster that day. Obviously, you're supposed to face Riley. Now you are fighting for that vacant championship and soon Riley Shepard against Becca Wiley in her second ever match, and the very experienced Gabby Gilbert. You come out victorious. What was that roller coaster like for you?
It was, I'm still angry at that match with Riley. And, I wish her nothing but the best. And I hope she recovers quickly, because I will have a match against her down the road. I have not forgotten. I will not let that go. But the turmoil of what I was fed in the ring, Gabby is a hell of a veteran, and Becca is up and coming, and, she definitely has great potential. But are you kidding me? It just made it super easy. And the emotion, was incredible. And like what you said, Rob, Nasta produced a hell of a champion, and I am it.
Wow. I mean, what a statement. What a debut at Titan Championship Wrestling. Now you're Goddesses of War champion. And Amanda, I'll ask you this again, being very impartial here, calling it down the middle like I always do. Obviously, I approached the ring after the match. I stayed out of the ring. I just want to point that out. I was trying to be very respectful. I did not mean to interrupt your celebration whatsoever. I was on the phone with the Vicious One. I told her what was going on. She's got a hit list. Riley was on that hit list. She's back from an injury. She wants to reclaim all 6 belts. That Goddesses of War championship, I think that's number 1 for her. She had some words for you. Your thoughts on that message from the Vicious One?
Well, I don't know how vicious she could possibly be, considering the fact that she used you as the pawn to address me. If she truly wanted to get at me, she should have just been there, but she wasn't. So she had to use poor little Rob to do her dirty work. And that list is a joke. She has her work cut out for her on September 17th, that's for sure. So I'm ready whenever she is, if she can handle it.
Wow. I'll leave it at this. We'll see what happens after that match. You are taking on the Vicious One September 17th at our next event, guys. Tickets are available now. Shameless promo. We'll see what happens. Kevin, what was it like for you? You're bringing in the new champ. You knew she was going to win, didn't you?
Well, I mean, look, I couldn't have wrote it any better, and I actually didn't write it. So, but the bottom line is, Gabby Gilbert is a very, very credible, relevant veteran in the women's division and all over the Northeast. Beck is very young, up and coming. She showed a lot of promise. She showed me a lot when we brought Rosemary in to do a seminar, and she worked, side by side with her. And so, for Becca, it kind of was like the David and Goliath match for her. So, this was a good teaching for Becca, to be pushed right into the forefront of a championship and being the super underdog. And, she held her own, and that gives her tons and tons of confidence going forward. Gabby already has the confidence. She didn't need the championship match because she is who she is. Amanda went in there expecting to wrestle Riley Shepard. Things happen with Riley. Everybody knows that D365 loves Riley Shepard, and she's our favorite geek. And things happen for a reason. Cards fall, whatever cliches you want to use. Amanda stepped in, and she did what she's been trained to do, and that is dominate everybody in her path. And she walked out with the championship. Like you said, you got Vicky on the phone and stayed on the outside of the ring, and Vicky said what she said, which is, what, this is great. This is great going forward, because now I get to look forward to working with Vicky and working with Amanda and working with all the current and up and coming goddesses of war wrestlers. And I'm not going to say, look, it's great. Yeah, I got Amanda the booking. I pushed her to the forefront. She did her job. She won the title. It was just, right time, right place for her. It was the perfect pairing. It just worked out great. Going forward, Amanda is Amanda. She's got to do what she does. She's got to go forward. Like you said about being impartial, I have to be impartial because I have to put shows together, and I can't be favoring one or the other. So, and I have total confidence that Amanda is going to hold her own. I have total confidence that Vicky's going to give her a fight of the lifetime. And I have confidence that the Goddess of War women's division is going to be the top women's division in the Northeast of all wrestling.
That's it. And not to bury the lead here, but you kind of mentioned it, sir. You are now the guy in charge over at Goddesses. I'm going to read the official press release as of this recording today, Monday, August 8th, official press release from Titan Championship Wrestling. This is breaking news from the Office of Titan Championship Wrestling and Goddesses of War. We're pleased and excited to announce that Kevin S. Nasta of Damage365 Promotions, Shameless Promo, will now be serving as head writer and booking agent for all Goddesses of War wrestling shows. And a lot of kind words, guys. You can check out the press release on the Titan Championship Wrestling site. Kevin, what does this promotion upgrade, this opportunity mean to you?
It's a big opportunity for me because I get to showcase what I've been doing for the past decade, and that is pushing and promoting the best of the best in women's wrestling to the forefront. And this is before everybody, became a household name. It's very easy to book, Lita. It's very easy to book Jordan Grace, or somebody who's on TV being dominant, or just being on TV in general. But how many can say that they were booking Jordan Grace when she was 17 years old and she was wrestling out of Texas before anybody knew who she was, or Thunder Rosa, who was wrestling out of Oakland, California, and I brought her to the East Coast for the first time, or wrestlers like current NWA Women's Champion Camille, when I was booking her when she was Camilla Kane wrestling, down south, Deanna Perrazzo, Aja Pereira, current WWE referee Jessica Carr when she was Kennedy Brink. I've booked, I've interviewed, I've promoted all these girls because I saw something in them, and I wanted everybody else to see this that I saw, and bringing them to conventions and fan fests, having them network, meeting fans, meeting other promoters, other vendors, meeting show promoters, just interacting with tons and tons of people that they might not have had the opportunity to do if they would have just stayed in their comfort zone. So this is what I want to do with Goddesses. I can go around and I can book the same old girls from the state of New Jersey and the state of New York and Pennsylvania that everybody else books. We're going to book them, but that's not the faces that you're only going to see. You're going to see the best of the best that women's wrestling has to offer, of not just the United States, but all of the world. I'm going to have no problem bringing people in from the UK, people in from Canada, things like that. We're going to see women's wrestling at its highest form, and we're going to be seeing that very, very soon in 2023.
Love it. Very well said. And we've always been big proponents of the women's wrestling here on the BCP, and it's just on another level right now, thanks to who you mentioned, Thunder Rosa, and a lot of other trailblazers and amazing women in this business. Speaking of amazing women in this business right now, Amanda, you are the current reigning and defending Goddesses of War champion. How did you link up with Kevin? How did this happen? Because I know a lot of, like he was saying, the Northeast talent. I don't know a lot of like the California and Florida's probably a great place to be for wrestling. How'd you link up with Kevin, champ?
Well, I've known Kevin for a long time. It just, I was very fresh in the business starting 3 years ago. I was trained by Isaiah Wolf in the very beginning. And then I ended up training with Damian Adams for a little bit out in New Jersey before I moved to Florida last year.
Okay.
And now, of course, I am with Devon, training
3D.
there, and it's been a hell of a ride. And, so I've known Kevin for a long time, and I know what he can do. I know what he's capable of in terms of advocating for talent, especially in the Northeast and on the West Coast and down South. And I would nag him from time to time, and, just joking around, we would talk about all kinds of things. And I would say, one day I'm going to be on your list of talent. You'll see. Yeah. All right. Whatever, and joking. And here we are 3 years later, and it actually happened. And, because Kevin believed in me, and, and it's not just for me, it's for all the up and coming women in the business out there. It's, all it takes is one person to believe in you. And that's it. And now it's, I've had a slew of support that I'm totally grateful for. I couldn't thank everybody enough, and, I'm the champion, but I didn't just walk in there and here you go, here's the belt, Amanda. No, I worked my ass off up to this point, and I had to, because I've had to prove to other wrestling talent, but also prove to myself that I am capable and that I have what it takes to be a women's champion. And I did it. And it doesn't stop here. As a champion, I have to now work twice as hard, even more so, to keep this and going forward in my career. It doesn't get easier. It gets harder. And I think that's something that a lot of people misunderstand. They think, because you're a champion, you can do whatever you want now. No. Yeah, there are royalties and benefits that come along with it, but it gets harder. It doesn't get easier.
Yeah, there's a target on your back. You know that right now. And I don't think that Goddesses of War Championship's ever been to Florida. So that's pretty cool. You say you're training at Team 3D with Devon. How long have you been over there at Team 3D?
I have been there going on a year now. So cool. Because I moved to Florida last summer. And then I took some time off because I was trying to find a reputable place to continue my training. And everybody was telling me, Amanda, just go to Devon already. Just go,
That's awesome.
Just go. Yeah, and I love it. It's been an incredible journey. It's intense, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
Did you train with Serpentico, John Cruz at all, or was he gone by that time?
No, they're gone by the time I got there, but their pictures are on the wall at the school.
Very cool. And I'm sure yours
Yeah.
will be on there one day too, now that you're the Goddesses of War champion. Kev, I want to throw it back to you, man, because I am appreciative of you bringing a lot of this talent that we see outside of just the Northeast, and you're always supporting the Northeast talent as well. What do you look for when you're looking for like a talent that, like, for instance, Thunder Rosa, you're like, I mean, first of all, hardest worker in the room, still just doing so much for the independence, for women's wrestling, and the community at large. I mean, for instance, like Thunder Rosa, like what did you see in her? Like what made you know, like, hey, she's going to be the next big thing? And what do you see when you're finding some of the best women in wrestling right now?
The main focus is to kind of see what you're dealing with in your demographic area. So I was watching a lot of independent wrestling in the New York, New Jersey areas, and watching their work, watching their promos, listening to their promos between shows, beefing up the next show, things like that. And then I would just go to YouTube and I would just watch other people's work, and Thunder Rosa, her promo work was just stuck out. I mean, she was telling a story, and you were hooked on every word that she was saying, and you believed everything that came out of her mouth. It didn't matter if she was a heel or she was face. You believed what she was saying, and then when you finally get to see the work, like you said, she's one of the hardest driven. Forget about just females. She's one of the hardest working wrestlers in all of the business. She's starred for every major company outside of WWE, and she's carried the flag for each of those companies. And you can tell, just not on her promos, yes, in the ring, great, just stud in the ring, but just look at how she carries herself. She is a physical phenomenon. She is just a freak of nature. When you look at her, you can play checkers on her stomach. I mean, it's just insanity. Okay. She is the most loyal person that you can be around, if you treat her with the respect. And she's a very loyal person, and she's always been loyal to us. And I base pretty much everything off of her now. So like when I see other people, and I'm like, all right, well, how does this compare to Thunder Rosa? And that's kind of where I go now. It's, I put Thunder Rosa at the top of my pyramid, and then I just follow down the pyramid to see, who is working their way up, to her level. And, like I mentioned a bunch of people earlier. I mean, look, everybody's different, everybody's training's different. Everybody's trip is different. Their journey is different. No two journeys are the same. And the way they got there shouldn't be compared, meaning just because somebody trained for 3 years and, signed a major deal, and she's, she or he is a superstar, but yet it took somebody else 6 years to gain that. It doesn't matter. Everybody gets there at different speeds. It's compare, you're a baseball fan. Sometimes prospects spend 2 or 3 years in the minors, and boom, they're in the major leagues doing their thing. And sometimes it takes 6, 7 years, and they wound up being a 28-year-old, 29-year-old rookie. And you know what? It doesn't matter. It's not how fast you get to the point. It's doing it the right way. And nobody can knock Amanda. She has done what she needed to do. She wasn't happy in one place. She moved on. While she's in New York, she makes sure that she trains here. I mean, she could very easily just come to New York for a couple of months and say, you know what, I'm on family time. I'm on vacation. I'm not worrying about work. So I'm just going to, do my thing while I'm in New York, But no, she's like, I'm going to go drive into Jersey, and I'm going to go train with Damian Adams, who has a very big track record of putting superstars on TV, like Deonna Purrazzo being one of them, so she's not taking the time off, she's taking the time and dedicating to training. And then when she goes home, she's training at Devon's. You know, she only started a couple years ago. She's a lot older than most wrestlers that she's probably going to get in the ring with. But it doesn't matter, because at the bottom line is she's done the necessary steps to get to where she wants to be. And it doesn't matter how long it takes her to get there, as long as at the end of the road, she's happy with the journey.
Very, very well said. And Amanda, I want to ask you this. And the guys, again, shameless promo. Amanda is defending her Goddesses War Championship against the Vicious One. Our last event was crazy. We saw so many title changes. It's going to be a very interesting day, causing damage. Mr. Nasta will be on commentary. We'll talk about that in a bit. But Amanda, I want to ask you this, not to be cliche here, but did you grow up watching the business, watching the product on television? Were there ladies or men that you gravitated towards that inspired you or still inspire you?
Oh,
I did.
Here comes the Roman Reigns.
Wrestling during.
Oh, it's like that. Oh,
Listen,
boy.
Let me tell you something. We're not going to go there right now. Yes, I grew up watching wrestling mainly during the Attitude Era. That was, my time period as a kid, as a teenager growing up. And I loved Chyna. Like, that was my girl. Just watching her do her thing in there, a woman of size and stamina and just, doing it. And she became the face of the company as this, this Goliath, kind of like the David and Goliath scenario. And, I gravitated to that. I think as I got older, you have a kid and you get into your career with school and other things and life takes over. It went on the back burner. Like, I honestly didn't think about pursuing this at all. It wasn't really in my mind. And then, a few years back, I had, life hits you, and I was dealing with health issues with my mother and whatnot. And so I needed a distraction. I started doing CrossFit, which I still do once in a while, but now I just do a lot of intense training at the gym. And I wanted something more. So I said, you know what? Let me try wrestling. I really didn't think it would ever get this far. I didn't think past the fact that I'm just going to learn how it works, learn a couple of techniques, and here and there, something to do, and call it a day. And here we are 3 years later, I am the women's champion. But, now that I've had to do my homework, I've had to study matches. I love studying Bull Nakano, another woman of that size and stature. And it's storytelling. I'm not one of those people that's going to go flying 50 feet off the top rope. I mean, I commend those that do it. God bless you. No. It's I throw people around. That's my job. So, I love wrestling, and I've realized now how much of it's almost like it's an art that can quickly be forgotten if it doesn't continue, and if it doesn't continue to progress. And it's just amazing, just storytelling and how things come together. And when you truly have feuds with your opponent in the ring, and how things get serious once the bell rings, it's totally different. My mindset has changed completely from when I first started in the very beginning. And it's, wrestling is not a hobby. It can be for some people, but it isn't for me. This is part of my life. This is my job, and I continue to work at it. And yeah.
Yeah, well, obviously, like you just said, you have the gold around your shoulder down in Florida, again, taking on the Vicious One. So we shall see what happens. And I appreciate you being civil with me. I appreciate you guys being cool. It was a little bit awkward.
Well, here's what's going to happen with that. I'm going to retain on September 17th. You're going to stay behind the ropes. And Vicky is going to attempt to use you as the pawn. And Roman Reigns is fine, Nasta. Go eat pizza or something.
Oh,
acknowledge your female chief.
Yes, that's right. Acknowledge me.
Anyway,
I mean, come on.
Being impartial.
First of all, Rob's not even going to be at the show. He's got some wedding that's more important.
One of my best friends in the world.
So another deflection because he's afraid to face me. I get it.
Tell your friend to reschedule. I mean, come on,
bro. It's his. Anyway, it's his wedding, and again, and I'm. I am staying far away from both you ladies. I'll put it that way. I'm staying far away from both of you. Shameless promo, guys, again, causing damage Saturday, September 17th. Get your tickets now. And speaking of shameless promo, Kevin, I want to ask you about this. We got an event coming up, end of the month. It's a little something called Wrestle Bash. You're bringing in some of the ladies. Let's tell everyone about that. Maybe the BCP table will be there. We'll see what happens. Get some content.
Yeah, so it is at August 20th, Parsippany, New Jersey. Asylum is running a show called Wrestle Bash, and Damage365 Promotions will have 3 tables there, consisting of some awesome current and former talent. The list includes current AEW talents Nyla Rose, Sonny Kiss, current Impact superstar Tasha Steeles.
Love Tasha.
Former ECW star Jasmine St. Clair, and we'll also be welcoming in Riley Shepard as long as she can make it there due to her health, and WWE Hall of Famer and trainer out in Gleason's gym in Brooklyn, New York, Johnny Rads.
Oh, wow. Really? That's awesome. Oh, very cool. That's it. I would like to speak to him for a few minutes because I know a lot of people that train under him. Very interesting. That's interesting. And Kevin, I want to ask you this one, man. Obviously, we talked about it a little bit, dude. You're jumping on that commentary table. You're going to be completely impartial. I already know
it. Sure.
Oh God, you and Alphonse. Oh gosh,
he's going to be rooting for me because he knows I'm going to retain.
Oh, look, I'm only on color commentary, so I'm just going to be there to drop in, the dynamite drop-ins, just I'm not going to be calling the match, I'm not going to be calling the match. I'm just going to be there to supply the Bobby Heenan-esque, Jerry Lawler-esque dynamite drop-ins.
Super. Can't wait. And Amanda, not to be on your back a little bit here, but there are going to be some of the best women in the Northeast in the building as well. Adina Steele, who's really just been making a name for herself here in the Northeast. She's been a goddess of war for a long time. She's got to be targeted. You as well. I mean, you got to know going everywhere that there's a target on your belt, or on your back, I should say, and your belt. You must be feeling that pressure.
Yeah, I mean, what can I say? Everybody wants to come for the gold. And even if I didn't have the gold, people want to come for me just to come for me. And if they want it, they could have it. But it's not easy. Adina Steele is definitely up and coming, very reputable. Nikki Duke will also be there. I trained with Nikki for a little bit over at Damien's, and great person. Although, I'm not too concerned about her. I'll let Adina take care of her. But it's kind of cool to be a walking target because it's kind of like come and get it and see how well you do type of thing.
Yeah, well,
I'm ready for it. What?
Welcome to my life.
oh yeah, we could talk about that for another day. Yeah, it's it's the pressure. You definitely feel the pressure because now, as a champion, or even, as just reputable talent that is developing, eyes are on you constantly. And people are watching, how you convey yourself, how you conduct yourself, how you move. So it goes beyond, the pressure goes beyond just what I do in the ring. The pressure continues even outside of the ring. Again, my character, how I behave and things of that nature. And that's what people look at. And, and that's where that pressure comes in. And like I said, when you're big in the business or you're up and coming in the business, it only gets harder. It doesn't get easier.
Absolutely. Very well said. And Amanda, not to be cliche, but we've seen a lot of our friends here in the Northeast really get some accolades and live their dream. I came up in the music scene, Asbury Park area, and I don't know like so many people that like made it in the music business. I know a lot of people that are still doing it and putting out some great music, but in the wrestling business, conversely, I'm seeing a lot of people we've had on the show 2 years ago. Even Kevin has mentioned it. The Thunder Roses of the world, like really, they're living their dream on NXT. There's these opportunities on AEW Dark and AEW Dark Elevation. It's a really good time to not only be a wrestling fan, but to be a wrestler in that business. Certainly that's not lost on you. What goes through your mind when you see all this opportunity? Is that, and maybe you've had some of these opportunities already. What goes through your mind when you see all this opportunity? Like, to me, it's amazing to see people capture their dreams, and it's very possible.
I think about it every day. Sometimes I get on Kevin to the point where he's like, can we go a week without talking about wrestling, please? Like, go eat something, go watch TV, do something.
Go to sleep.
Okay, I'll try. I go eat dinner. Oh, by the way, I saw this match on YouTube and I was watching X, Y, and Z. He's like, oh my Jesus Christ, for the love of God. So yeah, I do think about it. I do think about those opportunities, and they are definitely on my list. They are absolutely on my list. They are goals that I definitely have in mind. It's not too late, even though I am older than most people in the business, but there have been people in this business that, they're in their 40s and they can go, and that's the mindset that I'm starting to have. That's the positivity and the energy that I'm starting to instill in myself, that I may not be 21, but if I work hard, put in the work, anything is absolutely possible. But those goals, those next level goals are definitely on my list. They are under the radar for me, and I am working to pursue that. Absolutely.
Very well said, champ. And Kevin, same question, man. You're killing it in the promo game. Now you're going to essentially be the head of Goddesses of War. What's the goal for you moving forward? Because as we've seen, there's a lot of opportunity, not only in front of the curtain, but behind the curtain in this business as well.
My goal is to elevate the company. We had 3 really good shows back in 2020, in the middle of COVID and everything else. A lot of outdoor shows, talent having to wrestle when it was like 9,000 degrees outside. People signing autographs and their photos were curling and the markers were bubbling up because it was so hot. But it was a good launching point, and we had some good crowds. We had a lot of people that were there to sit and watch. We had people sitting in their car watching. It was kind of like a driving movie experience, I compared it to. And we had some good cards. We had some big talent, big matches, with the Holodead steel cage match that was freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, stuff like that. But we want to elevate it now. We want to not only build off those 3 shows, we want to elevate it to where it's a constant force. We don't want to be we're going to have our inaugural kickoff show, and it draws a couple hundred people, and we're all patting each other on the back, and then the next show draws 30. We don't want that. We want to be consistent. We want to reach out to the community, and we want the community to be involved in the company, whether it's schools or recreation centers or academic centers or after school centers, boys and girls clubs, YMCA, whatever it is. We want all of them to know that wrestling is going on in their neighborhood, and that the girls have just as much of a chance to become pro wrestlers as the boys do. And we want them to come and see their future heroes live and in front of them, for $20 or whatever it is, and we want to have them to be able to meet them and shake their hands and hug them and take pictures with them. And when we have in February, when we relaunched the brand, we're going to have the D365 Cup, which is going to be a tournament that's going to showcase the best of the best in women's wrestling. We're also guaranteed that we're going to have a current TV contractual talent at that show in action. And we're going to have a 2-hour fan fest before the show even starts, so the fans get to meet their heroes or their future heroes and interact with the talent. Talent sells some t-shirts, and those little kids are running around all week with who knows, Vicious Vicky shirts, holding up.
That's my favorite part, is when the kids
6.5, it's 7.1, 8.2.
Wow.
So so but that's what it is. It's to put the smile on the fans, and then the kids are happy, the parents are happy, which means they're going to be back, and then by word of mouth they're going to spread that positive to other people, and it's just going to keep a steady rotation of fans coming back, and that's what we want. And if that means we have to do a 2-hour pre-show, where the fans get to interact with the talent, then so be it, because nobody's doing that. Once in a while somebody does it, like once a year, but why can't we do it every show? Why can't we have a little fan fest at the beginning of the show, where fans could come in and meet their heroes, and then sit down and watch a freaking ass-kicking show and experience it every show? Well, there's no rules that say we only can do it once a year. I don't know why people kind of just rest on the laurels and just we'll do a mega show once a year. No. Every show should be a mega show, because if you treat one show better than the other, then you're kind of showing people that you're kind of caring less for the other shows. Now, you want equal caring, equal energy for every show. And that's what we want the women to see. And we want them to understand that they're just as important as bringing the customers in, because without them, there is no fans, and without the fans, there's no shows. So it goes hand in hand, and we want that. We want the fans. We want schools to show up. We want school buses to be pulling up, and little kids piling out and just filling out whatever building or venue we're in. That's what we want, and that's what the talent wants. What would you rather do? Let me put this. We already know what Amanda is going to say. She's a talent. Let me put this in your lap, Rob. You're, theoretically speaking, you're a wrestler. Okay, you busted your ass training. You wrestle every weekend. You wrestle in sweat boxes. You wrestle outside. You wrestle for, as you say, the hot dog and a handshake. All that fun stuff. Okay, what would you rather do? Would you rather wrestle in front of 45 people, or would you rather wrestle in front of 350 people?
I mean, it goes without saying, man. And my favorite part of it is hashtag smiles on faces, man. I got to go with the 350, man. And especially getting those kids involved. That's what it's all about. They have the best reactions. They love it. They have the signs. And when they get to meet the talent, like you said, that's my favorite part.
Yeah. I mean, you're putting the smiles on a face. It's the same thing, when I bring talent into conventions and stuff, they walk up to the table and they're like, oh my God, I've been, waiting my whole life to meet you. Like, holy cow. I mean, like, it doesn't, I'm going to use Eric Bischoff as an example. We bring him in, and there's grown men almost crying, like in front of this guy, like, oh my God, like, you're my hero. I love you. Blah, blah, blah. Can you FaceTime with my dad? He loves you. Like, it's just, yeah. I mean, and I sit there and I laugh and I smile, and I'm like, this is what it's all about. Yeah. We like to make money, but I'd rather make money and make people happy than make money and everybody's miserable. Mm-hmm. Because if that was the case, then I would have a Monday through Friday 9-to-5 job where I'd be miserable and still make money.
Yeah. And it also sounds like you have an actual business model. So I appreciate that, man. Very, very well said. And thank you for doing that, guys. And thank you guys both for making time to promote the event. Amanda, congratulations on your win. But before we get out of here, we're all about that shameless self-promotion here on the BCP. Amanda, tell everyone where they can follow you on socials, get the merch, all that good stuff.
Working on merch. And on Facebook, you can find me, Amanda Fuentes. You will see my profile picture holding this beautiful thing. On Instagram, it is _Amazonian413. That is my Instagram. And my Twitter is at Fuentes413. I'm not on Twitter too much. I mainly use Facebook and Instagram. You could definitely follow me on there and find me on there. And merch will be up and coming soon. I got to pick Nasta's brain on that one too, because, it's getting time, and he's going to yell at me and tell me to go away, and I'll be right back a half hour later anyway. So, I mean, he can't get rid of me even if he tried.
It's true.
That's it. And thank you, Amanda, for being kind. Appreciate that. I was a little nervous coming on here, not gonna lie. Mr. Nasta, shameless promo for you. Obviously, Damage365. You have the podcast as well. Wrestle Bash. Anything you want to promote or have people follow you?
You can follow everything at d365promotions.com. We are on Twitter at Damage365 Radio, Instagram at D365_promotions. We're on Facebook at Damage365. I mean, you can literally just Google Damage365 Promotions and 4,000 links will pop up. I've double checked them. None of them are bad. So, just want to make sure. But yeah, I mean, and to double up on your shameless promo, also because your sponsor is one of my sponsors. Yes, I encourage everybody to go out one day on a weekend, maybe every weekend, or maybe every month, every weekend. Check out the Funkenstein Wrestling Superstore in the Englishtown Flea Market Blue Building. They're literally half the building and conveniently centered themselves around the great lemonade stand, pizza, and Mexican food. So it's very convenient. You can visit Heather and Dan, and also a young man that was in my wedding who's very awesome, John Michael. He works there. And yeah, check him out, Funkenstein Wrestling Superstore, because they got everything: vintage video games, freaking wrestling stuff, magazines, comic books, shit. They got everything. Oh,
it literally our favorite store. And thank you for saying that. Amanda, Kevin, thank you guys so much for making the time. Stay safe out there. Good luck. Again, being impartial. Good luck on the 17th, guys. And continued success moving forward. Thank you guys so much.
Make sure Vicky tags Barstool Sports because that might be her saving grace for the 17th.
Wow.
All right, guys. I don't see a Damage365 sticker or anything in our back wall, by the way.
Okay. I think we're just gonna cut. Okay, we're gonna get out of here. All right, guys. Bye.